but she will be also the first nation to plan these facilities, before they are created and start as properly correlated components of a single organization. And when you go there, I find out a very good, I think it was a PhD dissertation in this historical event. The researcher, she is a professor in Fundação Getúlio Vargas, a well-known institution, well-respected. And she did dig quite a lot of information, official documents, did interviews, people who were still alive when she did, people who were a part of this, the whole process. Very, very good. It's in Portuguese, but it's available. And if you read the whole recommendation of Richard Smith, you'll be astonished, because he not only in this recommendation, but in 1945, he did a lecture in Brazil. And he said in this letter, Brazil is going to be one of the powers in aircraft industry. For Christ's sake, on what basis he would say that? And it's true. Embraer is amongst the first rank industry, is the fifth aircraft industry in the world. In medium aircraft airplanes, he's the first. I mean, nose to nose with Bombardier from Canada. The light aircraft, combat aircraft, I mean, is so, as far as I know, I mean, I'm not specialized in this area, but is regarded as very powerful and accomplish the missions he was designed for. That's another, is look around to see what would be our market niche, where we are going to focus our efforts. And from there on, we start to go. Now, Embraer produces a medium aircraft, probably who fly from here to Chicago or to Dallas. Will fly one of those latest Embraer aircraft. The maximum will be, I think, is MB195. It is for 115, 120 passengers. So, but I think Embraer is going to stick on that market level, a market share. Is not going to compete in large aircraft. This would be silly for her. It would destroy completely the whole Air Force. So my question, remember, I asked you, what would be the possible connections to explain and to help us to understand the success of Embraer and agro-industrial sector? There is one link. Is a political one. Political not in the sense of parties, but in the sense of the true forces that try to shape the country. And among those, there is this, this doctrine, they call it the doctrine of national security. When you read it, and I read it, although it has been inspired by, you have a college, National College of War, was set up also by the middle to the end of Second World War. Almost the same time that ESG is Escola Superior de Guerra, is war, School of War, high, how would you say, superior in the meaning of high School of War, something like that. Although it has been inspired by American National School of War, when you go in reading through the whole set of issues, organizations, etc., you see they depart quite widely from those original idea, American original idea. Why? Because they were focused on what is the meaning of national security. National security has a strong economy, occupy the country by Brazilians, have a good education, and this part they didn't understand well. I mean, the military, Brazilian military. I mean, but I think they have been changed and learned quite a lot from the last decades, and have good capability in science and technology. That was very clear for them. And the ideas that inspired those doctrine came from the positivism and the realization that unless Brazil has a good industrial base, a strong economic, strong and sound economy, would have been possible for them to even survive as a country. See? So in 1974, Embrapa was set up with the specific proposal of develop Brazilian industrial agro-business sector, ranging from science to deliver the result of R&D, of technological research, to the productions themselves. It has to cover up from A to Z, and they did. And now, okay, you could go through the history of those institutions, of those Embraer and Embrapa, and try to understand how they work out their mission, so to speak. It will be quite interesting, but we don't have time, and I didn't also prepare, summarize all the data I have to present to you, which I do apologize. But the idea was just to explore with you, to share with you some of my questioning, some of my concern in understand how that was possible for Brazil, what was behind, what's the driving force beneath all these social and political movements. Because from here on, you have to put these actors, social actors, in the table, so to speak, in order to be able to organize any proposal of action. That's why I said, unless you take into account the social, economic, and political environment, you could only be talking a very nice talk, very nice propositions, but you'll be naive to the point that would have any concrete consequence for the country itself. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry if it took so long.
No, thank you.
Thank you I thank your patience.
We have to make sure to announce your other talks.
I will be glad. I will be glad. I will be glad.
And I would love to get a copy of your presentation.
Sure.
To put on our website.
Sure, sure. If you give me just a couple of days, just to,
Sure.
for instance, this part I have this, so at least to few adjustment, make it more clear, that then you could go from the beginning up to the end and at least try to see what question I'm trying to address to.
Wonderful.
Thank you again. Thank you very much.
I guess if either of you, anyone has questions.
Please,
I have to start cleaning off a little bit.
please.
Something that had never occurred to me before. Do you mean that the dictatura militar had actually also contributed something positive?
Certainly.
It had never occurred to me before.
Certainly.
There's really something. And then you see, go on with what you said a little, but I also think, sort of, as I accompany the evolution of meteorology in Brazil, that's my field. In the, around 1980, they sent some of their best students to the United States to study, mostly master's degree in electrical engineering, electronics engineering, and then they started meteorology. And then from there on, the whole thing just developed. It's tremendous. There are now so many universities that have meteorology departments. Not a subject here very often. It's a country into which there's an influx of professionals from other countries that would badly need them themselves, but they go to, instead, to Brazil to work. And so many things that never occurred to me. It was indeed during that time of the military dictatorship.
Yes.
A lot of it.
Yes, I will tell you something that I'm sure you're going to be.
Bad things they did.
Yeah.
That's why I never think of it.
No, it's cool. That's why I'm trying to say the Brazilian history. You could put the Brazilian military in the same basket. Remember, when they set up the military coup in 1964, there wasn't a general ahead that staying until the end of the military period. Pay attention, please. They kept the presidency period and elect new presidency. You say, okay, but this was a gentleman agreement, so to speak. Yes. But what makes the damn difference? Because there was a huge difference between Castelo Branco was the first, Médici, Garrasto Azul Médici was the second, and more even in Geisel, Ernesto Geisel. That is so true that I'm going to tell something that you will be astonished. It is a well understand, even between the most leftist scholars, that you could mark three important periods in the Republic, Brazilian Republic. Getúlio Vargas, especially the second period where he came to power elect. Juscelino Kubitschek. And Geisel. Now, certainly, and I have no problem in saying that, you should also put Lula in the fourth place, as in the chronologically speaking. Yes, he did a very important thing. That's true. That's true. Although Fernando Henrique Cardoso don't like too much because, he's a scholar, for Christ's sake. I'm a scholar. This bloody guy came from nowhere. He has very, the vanity. But he's a nice guy, Fernando Henrique. Anyway. And he did important thing, for the government. So, unless you understand this, you would be able to understand what is going on in Brazil, and what is going on now in Petrobras, what is going to happen in Brazil with the pre-salt discovery. Do you know that the majority, the largest transnational firms are established R&D departments in Brazil right now, send the best guys to there to get the contracts from Petrobras and try to develop a new technology to explore in deep. You have a lot of research, scientific research, R&D, technological, etc., microelectronics, nanotechnology, robotics, new materials, nose to nose with Bombardier from Canada. The light aircraft, combat aircraft, I mean, is so, as far as I know, I mean, I'm not specialized in this area, but is regarded as very powerful and accomplish the missions he was designed for. That's another, look around to see what is available. And then if you read the whole recommendation of Richard Schmidt, you'll be astonished, because he not only in this recommendation, but in 1945, he did a lecture in Brazil, and he said in this letter, Brazil is going to be in Fundação Getúlio Vargas, a well-known institution, well-respected. And she did dig quite a lot of information, official documents, did interviews, people who were still alive when she did, people who were a part of this, the whole process. Very, very good. It's in Portuguese, but she will be also the first nation to plan these facilities, before they are created and start as properly correlated components of a single organization. And when you go there, I find out a very good, I think it was a PhD dissertation in this historical event. The researcher, she is a professor, one of the powers in aircraft industry. For Christ's sake, you know what basis he would say that? And it's true. Embraer is amongst the first rank industry, is the fifth industry, aircraft industry in the world. In medium aircraft airplanes, he's the first. I mean,